Hello, everybody, and welcome to our special webinar today. I'm really glad everybody could join us. So I don't do this a lot. This is going to be a pretty rare walkthrough of a couple different things today. We're going to be talking about how you get business credit step by step. We're also going to be talking about how you get loans and credit lines. We're also going to be diving in and talking more in depth about the fastest way to be able to get both. So today we're going to be talking about how to get $250,000 in business credit for your EIN that's not linked to your social. And we're also going to talk about how to get business loans and credit lines even when you think you can't. We're going to be decoding really a couple different things. First, we're going to be talking about how to get $250,000 in business credit for your EIN that's not linked to your personal Social Security number. We're going to map out the exact steps to do this, and you're going to get access to all the insider information as of today's date. A lot of things have even changed, and we're going to map out the exact process for you to be able to be successful in building your actual business credit and building your corporate credit. We're also going to talk about how to easily get loans and credit lines. You know, a lot of business owners need money and want money to grow, but don't know where to get it and don't realize that there are literally hundreds of different programs out there that are available that can actually help you obtain loans and credit lines. So these are the type of things that we're going to be diving into today. So we have a lot to cover. We're probably going to run about 90 minutes, and I will stay to answer questions as well. So we'll get a chance to make sure that everybody has questions. I know a lot of you will have questions during the webinar, but if I stopped and answered all the questions during the webinar, this would take 3, 4, 5 hours possibly. So I'm going to go ahead and get to those at the end of the webinar. So let's start at the beginning. When we talk about business credit, we're talking about credit that's obtained in a business's name. Now, with business credit, the business itself is building its own credit profile and score for the business EIN number. So much like you have a credit profile and score that's linked to your personal social, with business credit, you're building credit that's linked to your actual EIN number. Now, this credit's in the business name, so it's based on the business's ability to pay, not the business owners. So whenever you ever hear about being able to get money with no credit check, you should be skeptical. Most people are. I'm skeptical even when I hear that. But the way business credit works, the reason you can get it regardless of personal credit is because if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. It's credit for your business. It's your business standing on its own. It means your business itself is qualifying, and the ability to obtain credit is based on your business's ability to pay, not you as the owner. So because of this, as you build business credit, you get the ability to obtain more and more capital without it relying on your personal guarantee or personal credit, because the business gains its ability to stand on its own. And as the business gets of this credit, starts obtaining capital, then it first starts with getting credit cards. Office Depot, Home Depot, Sam's Club, Costco, Dell, BP, Walmart, MasterCards, Visas, American Express, almost every retailer or big store that's out there of some sort offers some kind of corporate credit. Even Nordstrom does, even Macy's does, to give you an idea of the different types of stores that do this, even Pitney Bowes, for example. But you're also building a credible and lendable foundation that helps you get loans. It helps you get credit lines. Now, business credit alone takes a lot of building to ever get loans and credit lines just based on business credit. I'll tell you that up front because a lot of people won't. But it will help you obtain $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 individual credit cards in the process of building it. And as you will see here in a few slides, it is the foundation of you being able to get loans and credit lines. We're even going to look at commercial reports to see what lenders see. So there's a lot of benefits you should know before we dive in. One is that business credit has no effect on your consumer credit. It has no adverse impact on your consumer credit scores. So most people use their own personal credit to fund their business. The problem with that is that when it comes to consumer credit, 30% of your consumer credit score is made up of what's called utilization. So that means as you put balances on your credit cards, you lower your scores substantially. I mean, almost as much as if you pay your bills late, because 35% of your consumer FICO scores payment history, 30% utilization. So with business credit, these are credit accounts that report on the business credit reports, not the consumer. So you could even max your credit cards out and not adversely affect your consumer scores at all, because your consumer credit won't be affected because the accounts are only reporting on your commercial credit reports. Plus, even if you have good credit, well, then you don't want to have inquiries on your commercial or on your consumer credit reports unless you want to. And in the commercial world, you have the ability to get a lot more loans and credit lines when you have few to no inquiries on your credit within the last 6 to 12 months. So this has no adverse effect. It doesn't affect your utilization because the accounts only report in your commercial reports, and there's no inquiries because they're not pulling your consumer credit when it comes to getting approved for business credit. And that also means that you can get approved no matter how bad your credit may be. Even if you have credit issues, well, business credit's not based on your consumer credit quality. So regardless of how good or bad your consumer credit is, you're still able to obtain commercial credit because there's no credit pull when it comes to getting approved. And even if you have good credit, well, then you're still going to care about there being no personal guarantee. Because with business credit, you're not liable for what happens in your business. You and the business are separate if you're, for example, a certain entity, which we'll talk about a little bit later here. And in doing so, you can separate your liability for the business. So if you ever do default, if the unexpected ever happens to you and you default on an account or even go out of business, they can't come after your personal assets. This might not be a big deal to a lot of people because we don't think of failing, but I can tell you that they absolutely will wipe out your personal assets when this happens. So if you can keep your family's finances and assets safe, why not? Business credit will help you do that. It will help you separate the liability, and it's SBA and Inc. and Entrepreneur and NASDAQ. All these sources, this is why they talk about the importance of building business credit, is to separate that actual business liability. So business credit building is very fast. What I'm going to show you today is the fastest way to build business credit, which means you can immediately get credit as soon as we are done with this webinar. You will immediately walk away and be able to get credit, and then you'll be able to build that credit to very quickly get credit with most major stores, even Visa cards, MasterCards, even auto vehicle financing. And this is important because anybody can see your business credit reports, your prospects, competitors, potential buyers of your company, your clients, potential investors. You know, we're not used to this. In the consumer world, somebody has to have your permission to pull your credit report. It's called permissible purpose per a law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Well, in the business world, there is no Fair Credit Reporting Act. It doesn't apply to commercial credit. So what happens is anybody can see your reports without your permission. As a matter of fact, if you go to Dun & Bradstreet to get your credit report, the first thing they do is give you an option. Do you want your credit report or a credit report for another business? So again, with business credit, it's important to build a profile and score because anybody who wants to can easily see what's on your reports. Now, business credit also gives you a greater borrowing ability because you have both consumer and commercial credit. So, for example, you can go into Staples today and get a consumer credit card. But the problem is that when you do that, you can't go in tomorrow and get another credit card with Staples. But with business credit, you can get a consumer credit card, and then you also can turn around and get a commercial credit card the next day. It's the only way you can get two credit cards at most major retailers is to have consumer and credit and commercial credit. The difference is that commercial credit limits are much higher than consumer credit. So with business credit per SBA, limits are about 10 to 100 times higher than what you see with consumer credit. This sounds like a really crazy number, but it's not if you think about it, because you may never need to spend $20,000 for home computers with Dell. But you very well could want to spend or need to spend $20,000 worth of computers for your actual business. So because of this, this is why limits are so much greater in the business world than they are with business cards than they are with consumers. So because of this, you can get $20, $30, $40, $50,000 limit credit cards within 6 months or less. And today we're going to map out the actual steps to do this. We'll even take a look at real approvals that people are recently obtaining. You also can get approved when you can't get a bank loan or alternative financing. As a matter of fact, business credit's the only way to get money for a business when you have no collateral, bad credit, and you don't have cash flow. So even when you have no chance at all of getting a loan, you still can come in and get business credit, even as a startup. I call it a catch-all, because everybody can get it no matter what your scenario is. If you have a business, you can obtain it. So even if you think there's no way you can get financing, we're still going to map out how you're able to get business credit. You can also access loans and credit lines to grow, to fund your business, to use your profits to grow your business instead of your personal funds. There's a lot of studies on this that show that a healthy business that has a good chance for long-term success is a business that does not rely on your consumer credit and also does not rely on your personal assets or your personal cash injection. So the more your business can start funding itself, the healthier your business is, and all the statistics show that when it can fund itself and the healthier it becomes, then the better chances you have of long-term success in your business, which of course gives you a huge competitive advantage. So with business credit, it also determines three things when it comes to loans and credit lines. One, will you get approved or will you get denied? Two, how much money will you actually get approved for? And what rates and terms will you get? So if you want the most amount of money at the best terms and to be able to get approved for loans and credit lines, business credit's an absolute essential necessity, which we'll show you in just a second. You can be denied financing based on business credit quality, even if you have no business credit established whatsoever. And I'm going to show you on the next slide exactly how that works. So let's take a look at some reports and let me show you what I mean. So first of all, you can be issued a failing business credit score for your business, even if you have no credit reporting. And this makes you look unestablished, possibly even on the verge of filing bankruptcy. This is why they give you a failing score, because a business that's operating that doesn't have credit looks like it's unestablished or possibly even on the verge of filing bankruptcy. As a matter of fact, the reporting agencies even have a bankruptcy score that depicts your risk of going bankruptcy. So here's a perfect snapshot from an Experian commercial credit report that shows what this looks like. You can see the score. This is an Intellis score. It ranges from 0 to 100. 100 is the best score you can get. 0 is the worst. So we see this company has a 28 credit score. We see that's very high risk. Current financial stability risk score. This literally depicts your risk of going bankrupt. And you can see that it's about as high a risk as you can get. We see the factors lowering the credit score right down here, lack of active trades. And what's interesting is when we look at this, here's the trade lines the company has, 0. They have 0 credit across the board. So in this case, you've got a company that's given a failing score. Their bankruptcy score says about as high a risk as you could get. But the crazy thing is they have absolutely no credit reporting on the commercial credit report. Again, we're not used to this. In the consumer credit world, you have to have bad credit, not pay your bills, for example, to have bad scores. But in the commercial world, if the reporting agencies like Experian and Equifax even know your business exists and they know your SIC code, they will automatically populate a report and your report will look like this. We pull reports all the time, and every time I see a score of 27 to 29, and a credit limit of $1,000, I know this combination means that we're dealing with the company that has no credit. And unfortunately, these are a lot of people that come to us. They go to their bank to get a credit card. They go to their bank to get a loan or a credit line. We have companies that make millions of dollars in revenue and are denied for $10,000 credit card limit credit cards because when they pull the business credit, they get a notice that says that the business credit's bad. Well, as you can see, there's nothing bad here. There's just nothing here, and it's the nothing here that is bad. And this is exactly what happens in the commercial credit world. Now, let's take a look here at what happens when even one account reports. So after this webinar, I'm going to show you how to get accounts that will report to the reporting agencies. And that one account can take you from no score or a failing score to a great score, so you become more lendable. And the reason for this is because business credit scores are based mainly on one factor and one factor only. And that one factor is how you pay your bills. If you pay your bills as agreed, you instantly will get a good score. How good? How good depends on how early you pay the bill. If you pay it on time, you have an 80 to 90 score. If you pay it early, then you'll have a 90 to 100 score. So all you have to do is get credit that reports, pay the bill, and it gives you a good score. So in this case, we see somebody that has a 96 score, credit recommendation of $2,500. We see their low risk, about the opposite end of the spectrum, right? There's lower risk as you can almost get to. So we took somebody here from high risk to low risk. And what's interesting is this is the only account on their credit report, a packaging account, probably a Uline account, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So this one account they added, they spent less than $100, recent high credit they used. They spent less than $100 and they have a 96 score. Here's where things get interesting. They had a 28 score exactly the same as the one I just showed you. Like I said, very common. 28 is a good score. There is a score that completely indicates somebody usually has no credit. And they've got one account and their score shot up from a 28 up into the 90s where they are now. This is what I'm going to teach you how to do today, is to go from adding one account to your credit report and helping you go from no or bad credit to a good credit, and then continuing to build that to qualify for more and more money. Now again, you can't just get one account, because some reporting agencies, which we'll talk about as we progress, require more than one account, which is a pitfall a lot of people fall into, and I'm going to help you avoid. So what happens is, as you continue to grow your credit, the business credit reporting agencies recommend you for more and more money. This helps you get higher approvals on business credit cards, loans, and credit lines. So Equifax, Dun & Bradstreet, and Experian all have what they call credit limit recommendation, and it's exactly what it sounds like. This is the limits that they're recommending for credit issuers and lenders. So they're telling lenders and credit issuers, based on what we see and all of our billions of dollars of analytics we've developed, this person should be recommended for, in this example, $1,000. That's the first example we looked at a couple slides ago. Last slide, we looked at this person. We saw that that one account took them up to $2,500 credit limit recommendation. Here's somebody that doesn't even pay their bills. They're paying their bills bad. 27 score. They're still being recommended for $7,000 of credit, $6,900, and they have two accounts on their business credit report. As we continue to grow the business credit, here's somebody that's being recommended for $15,600 in financing, and they've got 3 accounts on their business credit report. Here's yet another one that has $65,000, almost $66,000 in financing they're being recommended for, and they only have 4 accounts. We see 3, we see the 4th one come down here on the second page. And then here's a company that's being recommended for $724,200 in credit, and we see how many trade lines they have. I'm not sure how many that is, but that's probably about 15. We'll go with about 15 accounts. So I just showed you the progression of business credit from a lender standpoint. The more credit you get, the higher your scores will be. You even saw examples of people that have lower scores because they're not paying their bill but are still being recommended for more money. So as I mentioned, business credit will determine if you get approved or denied. If you have a bad business credit or no business credit, your chances of getting approved for a lot of financing are nil. Okay, it also will determine the rates and terms you'll pay. Your credit score really factors into that. How high your credit score is indicates how you pay your bills. The better the score, the better the rates and terms you're going to get. It's like that with consumer credit in the consumer world as well. And business credit also determines how much you're going to get approved for. And you see clear as day that every one of these commercial reports has a clear credit limit recommendation that lenders and credit issuers are using to actually determine the approvals. So when you apply for credit, you get an approval and you get a certain limit, this is what factors into the amount of credit limit that you're actually issued. We know it's not manually taking place because it happens so fast. So these automated systems that credit issuers use are looking at the reports, factoring in the credit limit recommendation, and this helps them determine the kind of limits that you're going to be issued and whether or not you'll get loans and credit lines as well. So that being said, it's also important to note that every successful business in this country has business credit. Now, a lot of people believe the opposite here. They think you have to be big to get business credit, but that's not the truth. The truth is any company can obtain business credit if you know what we're going to talk about today. But you have to have business credit to get big. So for example, here's a look at Facebook. We see their Experian snapshot with 40 trade lines. We see here with Dell how they have 83 trades. Microsoft been around since the 70s, 131, and Apple been around since the 70s as well with 138 trade lines. We see Pilot Flying J with 153 business credit trade lines. So what's a trade line? The trade line is the reporting of an account on the credit report. I just showed you a bunch of examples from real commercial credit reports. So you can imagine what this is like to have 153 trade lines. So if you think that Facebook and Dell and Apple are able to get millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars lent to them because they're Facebook, Apple, and J, that's not the case. They are being lent large amounts of money because of the example I just showed you previously. They're obtaining more trade lines. The more accounts that they have on their commercial credit report, the more credit they have established, the higher those recommendations for credit are, which is why these companies are being lent more and more money. Here's Publix supermarket in Lakeland, Florida, down here in Florida, or right down here in my home backyard, 171 trades. And here's Walmart with 513 trades. So Walmart really is the perfect example of what you can accomplish with business credit. 80% of what Walmart sells, they actually buy on credit, and you pay them for it before they actually spend their own money to buy it. So they go and they use Bounty paper towels as an example I like to use. They go to Bounty, they use business credit to buy paper towels, they put it on their shelves, you come in, you buy the paper towels from Walmart, you say, Walmart, here's my money. Walmart takes your money and they use it to pay back Bounty for the paper towels. They buy 80% of what they put on their shelves on credit and use your payments to actually pay off the credit. This is why they're the #1 retailer in the world. It's also why they have 513 trades. They've mastered OPM, using other people's money to grow, and in doing so, this has given them the leverage to become the #1 retailer in the world. Now here's Mars Incorporated. They make Mars bars with 22 trades. But here's where things get interesting. Here's a client that's just not very far into building business credit, just a few months into the process, that has 8 trades. Well, they make Mars bars. They have 22. They have 8. They have more than 30%, like 35, 40% as many trade lines as the Mars company does. Here's another company that's a year into business, building business credit, or what their profile looked like a year in, with 14 trades. They have 70% as many trade lines as Mars Corporation has. So again, any company can build business credit. As a matter of fact, the steps I'm going to show you today are a lot of the same steps that a lot of the bigger companies used in their early years to build their initial credit profile and score. And now as they've continued through years and years to build it, they have the ability to get access to more and more credit. So you do have to get business credit to be big. There's no highly successful company, public or privately owned company in the United States that has got to where they are without building business credit. All of them, you name any of them, we could pull the same thing and look at their trade lines. But you do have to have business credit to get big. You don't have to be big to actually get access to business credit. You just have to know the proper steps, the process to follow. Which brings me to the main topic that we want to jump into here. How do we build business credit? Well, I'm going to do this 2 ways for you. First, I'm going to map this out and show it to you through Power. We're going to go through these slides. I'm going to map out this exact process. I'll then show you exactly how our clients do it, so you can see how not just it works, but how it works when you get the fastest and easiest results. So we'll do that. Then we'll dive in and even talk about loans, credit lines, before we continue to move on. So here is a great look at what's possible with business credit from the samples. So this is their exact quote. We went to our bank to get a business line of credit, and they turned us down. We got such credit. Now, after following the steps, we've now secured over 96 grand in business credit cards and just applied for the Platinum Amex card and got approved instantly with no limit. Now we have 4 to 5 different companies call us every day trying to get us money, and that's a really good problem to have. We're excited, and if you don't have business credit yet, you should get them to have the same results we have. So we just looked at their company, Success Tax Relief. We looked at it at the beginning stages where they had 14 trades. Their story is way different now. Their Amex has no limit. They oftentimes spend about $100,000 a month on it. They have over $250,000 in business credit that they've already obtained. So again, you'll see at least a few of these examples to coincide with the actual title of the webinar. So here's clients that have secured over $250,000. They used business credit to make over $1 million their first year in business, and then this year they now make over $2 million. I just interviewed Thelma 2 weeks ago, as a matter of fact, to get an update on their progress. So a real good look at exactly what's possible when you're building business credit and following these steps. So what steps do you follow? Well, the very first step is you want to build your business credibly. And by the way, I will if you're staying to the end and I'm sending you a replay, I will send you a link to an interview with them, so they walk you through the whole initial process of building business credit, what their experience was like in the beginning, the accounts they got, the limits, all those type of things. I will get that to you if you're sticking around to the end. So the very first step, we've got to set up your business credibly. Lenders and credit issuers have a secret set of standards that you must meet to get approved. You get this, I get this. You've applied for credit cards. One of two things happens. You either get an automated approval, or you get that dreaded message that you'll hear by mail in 7 to 10 days. Well, what's happening is that when you're entering your information in there, the credit issuer's computer is processing the information, and it's kind of like a checklist. If you meet all their criteria, it's a series of checks and you get an approval. If you don't, then they basically red flag or get X's in criteria that you must meet. If you have enough of those, you get denied. So that's how it works. So my goal for you isn't just to get business credit. It's to give you a path to get it as fast as possible by making sure that you get automated approvals. Well, to get automated approvals, we have to understand this secret, unpublished set of standards that these credit issuers and lenders have. Once we have this, then we have established a lendable foundation that helps you get approvals automated for credit cards, and also helps you get the loans and credit lines that you're looking for. So if you meet these standards, you get those automated approvals. If you don't meet the standards, you're typically going to get denied. It really is as simple as that. So you've got to set up your business credibly before you even think of starting to get credit and financing. If you don't, you'll oftentimes get denied, as many of our clients do before they end up coming to us. So first, you want to set up your entity. Now, you can build business credit with entity, a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a corporation, an LLC, but it's only a corporation or an LLC where you could truly separate your liability. And the reason for that is because a partnership or a sole proprietorship, you and the business are one and the same. With a corporation or LLC, your entity is separate from you as an individual, so you can also separate your consumer and business credit. Your liability can be separate. So you want to try to set up a corporation or LLC. If you are already set up as a sole prop or partnership, consider changing over to a corporation or LLC to separate your liability. Look, I'm not an attorney, but I'll tell you, if you're a sole proprietorship or partnership and you and the business are one and the same, if the business gets sued, you can get sued. And that's obviously something you want to avoid, as well as being able to separate your actual personal guarantee for the business and your individual as a consumer. So you want to stay away from high-risk business names that indicate that you're in a high-risk industry, because again, if you're looking for automated approvals and they see you're in a high-risk industry, that alone can get you denied. So a little bit later, I'm going to show you exactly how you can, I'll show you an actual list, or how you can access a list of high-risk industries to make sure that your name doesn't indicate you're in a high-risk industry. If you are, not only is it hard to get merchant accounts and bank accounts, but can also result in a lot of automated denials because they don't want to lend you money if you're in a certain industry. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. You want to get your free EIN number from the IRS. It is free. A lot of companies out there make themselves look like the IRS. You get to the end of the process, they try to charge you money. Don't fall for that scam. EIN numbers are absolutely free. A lot of people think business credit's built under your DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet. It's not. It's built under your actual EIN. It's also interesting because a lot of people think that you need to have your EIN. They have to ask for your EIN before you build business credit. That's not true either. They can actually, just with your name and address, still issue you business credit even if they don't know your EIN number. And I'll tell you how that's possible in a little bit. But you have to have the EIN number to build business credit. It's absolutely crucial as we get into step 3. If you need licensing in your state and your county for your industry, well, then you need to make sure that you have that licensing so you're operating legally. And you also want to make sure that all of your online listings have the same information as what's on your application. The details must be congruent. So this is where a lot of people fail. One of the biggest reasons that bank loans get denied is because of this right here. It's because the address that you have with the Secretary of State is not the same as what pulls up in a Google search, and it's different than what's on your application. What's on your application must be consistent with what's on your bank statements. It needs to be consistent with what's on Google and Bing and Yahoo. It needs to be consistent with the Secretary of State records. If not, you'll oftentimes get denied for loans and credit because they're not sure. They see a lot of mismatched information, which automatically triggers denials in a lot of different cases. So you also want to make sure you have a professional website set up. They're going to search your business online. It's better for you that they find your business online through your own website, find your own information online. So you want to make sure that you have a professional website. You want to have a professional email address. Don't use Yahoo. Don't use Gmail. Don't use anything that's not a professional email. That's what you want. Maybe your name at yourcompany.com or info at or sales at yourcompany.com. You know, nowadays you can go to GoDaddy and for $12 you can get a domain that comes with these kind of email addresses. But don't use Yahoo and Gmail type email addresses that can oftentimes get you denied. You want to use a real physical business address on your application. If you don't have a physical address, maybe you work from home, that's okay. Use a virtual address. A virtual address is an address that you rent, basically an address to get mail at without actually paying to get an actual office. I'm going to take a real quick drink of water. So that's what a virtual address is. Instead of you coming in and getting a physical office, you're renting an address. You get your mail there, you can use the address on all of your documentation, and then the company will then actually get your mail and forward it to you. As a matter of fact, nowadays if you want them to, they'll even open your email, take pictures, and send you the pictures of the mail if you want them to. So that's what a virtual address is. That's much better than a home address if you can use it, if you can access it. Now the third and worst and last case option is a home address that you want to use. You don't want to use in that order. You want to first get a business address if you can get a physical address. Get a virtual address if you can't. Get a home address at absolute last resort. Why is a home address last resort? Because again, you've got to think about this from this perspective. Lenders and credit issuers, especially when you start building business credit, have no other information about you. You have no business credit established. They're not looking at your personal credit reports either. And you don't have anything else established with the business. So all they have to go off of is the information on your application. So obviously a business address makes you look more credible than a home address does. Now, if you use a home address, can you still get approved? Yes, absolutely, with some sources. So for example, we just looked at a testimonial from the samples. Well, this is one of the things that she didn't realize. What she didn't realize was that she got denied Walmart. The reason she got denied Walmart was she was using her home address. Now, Staples would approve you. Office Depot will approve you, but some credit issuers like Walmart won't approve you. So if you want the most amount of credit, you need to use a business address or a virtual address, a physical address for business or home or virtual. If you use a home address, some sources will still approve you, but other sources won't. What you never want to do is use a P.O. box or UPS address, and here's the reason.
In case you need anything, just give me a call.
P.O. Box 17. Of course I'm a real company.
You got the area code.
Why? Because lenders and credit issuers have a database of these addresses that their computers cross-check. If their computers find out that you're using a PO or UPS, you automatically get denied in almost all cases. It's just an almost guaranteed way to get denied. So if you don't want to get denied, never use PO Box, never use UPS. If you want to get approved for all the credit you can get a physical business address or virtual, home address at least resort. But again, know that a home address will still get you denied with some sources. You need a business phone number. You never want to use a mobile phone number on an application. You never want to use a home phone as your business phone number on an application. Again, credit issuers and lenders have an online search that they do, and they know immediately if your phone number is a business phone, a home phone, or a mobile phone. So you want to make sure that you get a business phone number. Can even be a voice over IP. Some services you want to avoid, but voice over IP will work in a lot of cases. You should get a toll-free business number. You should have a fax number as well, even if you don't get or send a lot of faxes. You never want to leave that field blank on an application. And you need to get the phone number listed with 411. That sounds easy, but it's not. 411 is one of the basic searches that a lot of sources in step 3 start looking at, and here's why. You can't fake 411. You can't go to 411.com. First of all, 411.com is not 411. A lot of people think it is, and it isn't. But you can't go to 411 directly and get listed. It doesn't work that way. The way that 411 works is they pick up your business organically from sources like Google and Bing and Yahoo and other places. So basically, you have to set up your business and wait through time for 411 to pick you up and list your business. Now, if you don't want to wait, well, then there are services you could pay to expedite. Services like Yext, which is $500 a year. Services like List Yourself, which is about $360, $400 every year that you have to pay and maintain it, and they will keep you listed with 411. So you can pay to get listed with 411, or you can organically wait to get listed, but you can't just go to them and get listed. That's why they use this as a basic criteria, because they know you can't fake it. Now, later on, I'm going to show you how to get 411 without paying a dime for it, which saves you that nearly $400 a year. So once you've done so, once we've set up this business credibly, and there are more credibility points, but I touched on the major ones that you want to focus on to set up that business credibly. Now, once you've done so, the next thing you want to do is get set up with the reporting agency. Now, there's three major reporting agencies in the commercial world: Equifax and Experian. Obviously, we're familiar with them. They exist in the consumer world as well. There's also Dun & Bradstreet, which is the biggest reporting agency in the world. Commercial and consumer combined, they're the biggest, and they really only are in the business world. You don't see them in the consumer world. So you want to get set up with them, and you want to do a free check. You want to do a check with them to see if you're set up with them now, if they know you exist. Why? We already know why. Because as we looked at earlier, if they know you exist, they can issue you a failing business credit score. So you want to do a check to see with all of them, do they even know you exist? Because if so, you probably want to get your credit reports to see if you have that failing score. And I'll show you a little bit later exactly how you can do a free search with all three of the reporting agencies to figure that out. You want to get your DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet. Some credit issuers will issue you credit without it. Some won't. So I had an experience where I was building credit for a business, applied for Staples, a business credit card, they denied me. And I thought, well, that's weird. Business credit's established. I told the person on the phone that. I said, that can't be the case. We have credit with Dun & Bradstreet. Here's the DUNS number. And they said, okay. He pulled it again with the DUNS number and got an instant approval. So the DUNS number is very, very, very useful to help you build business credit. As a matter of fact, Dun & Bradstreet won't even establish a credit profile for you unless you have your DUNS number. And you can get it for free. And I'll talk to you later about how to activate all of your credit profiles and get your DUNS number without paying any reporting agency the thousands of dollars that they may charge you to do it. You also want to fix any inaccuracies and derogatory items. Now, again, business credit repair, very different than consumer credit repair, very different, because consumer credit repair has the Fair Credit Reporting Act involved. There is no Fair Credit Reporting Act in the business world, so because of that, there's a whole different process to fix inaccuracies on your business credit reports. And a little bit later, I'm going to show you how to easily, in one click, get in there with all the reporting agencies to be able to fix inaccuracies. So now we followed two important steps. We set up the business credibly. We got set up with the reporting agencies. We fixed any inaccuracies on the report. We made sure they don't have a negative report with us now. We got our DUNS number set up. The next step you want to take is to get initial credit. Now, just like with consumer credit, you're not able to get credit for your business at a lot of the places you want: Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Staples, Office Depot, stores, unless you have some kind of initial credit profile established. So let's look at Staples, for example. If you go into Staples with absolutely no consumer credit, they're going to deny you. But if you go into Staples with some kind of established consumer credit that you paid your bills as agreed, they'll approve you. Same thing in the business world. In the business world, if you go into Staples with no business credit established, they'll deny you. If you go into Staples or your bank with established business credit, they'll approve you. So the key is to establish an initial credit profile and score, and there's three different ways to do this. One is pay Dun & Bradstreet for their D&B credit builder. They'll typically charge you $1,500 to $2,000. I know if you've ever spoken with them, they give you they quote everybody different numbers. It's crazy the different numbers that I hear them quote people. But on average, when I look at everybody's quotes together, it's about $1,500 to $2,000. Okay, so that being said, it's about $1,500 to $2,000 to get approved for and use Credit Builder. Now, the problems with this, and there's a couple of them. First of all, you only are building credit with Dun & Bradstreet. That's a problem, right? Think about what your consumer credit would be like if you only built credit with TransUnion and didn't with Equifax Experian. You'd never get a mortgage. You'd struggle to get a car loan. You'd struggle to get credit cards or pretty much any kind of credit because a lot of credit issuers look at Experian and Equifax. Same thing in the business world. You can't just build credit with Dun & Bradstreet. Even if you take this step and spend thousands of dollars, you're still going to have to go in and follow one of the other two ways to build initial credit, because you've got to build business credit with all three, D&B, Equifax, and Experian. The other thing to note about D&B's credit builder, most trade lines you'd want to add can't be added. You can't add any kind of utility to your credit report. You can't add rent or any payments with your landlord. You can't add any bank references or credit that your things that you paid on bank accounts. You can't add major credit cards on your business credit reports. So when you rule all that out, rent, utilities, bank credit, revolving credit, major credit, well, then there's not a lot of things you probably have left to add. So those are two of the biggest faults that we see with this first option. Now, the second option is a fantastic way to go. You can get up to $150,000 in unsecured actual credit lines. No doc, you don't need revenue, you don't need collateral for approval. You get 0% financing even as a startup. Fantastic way to go. They usually come in the form of 4 credit lines or credit lines or credit cards with cash out capability. You could take physically all the money out. You could take out, if you get approved for $150,000, you could take $150,000 out at 0%. And these report to the business reporting agencies. Now, these ones do require a guarantee because you haven't established business credit yet. You're just starting it. But they helps you build business credit with high limit accounts, and you're getting up to $150,000 in cash credit. So it's a great way to go because you're getting your 5 initial trade lines here. But you need to have one thing to be able to actually get approved for this, which is pretty good personal credit, about a 680 credit score or higher. If you don't have a 680 credit score or higher, or you don't want to provide a guarantee, well, then that brings you to option 3, which I'll tell you in just a second. But before I do, let me kind of give you an example here. So here's a client that got $61,400 in these unsecured credit lines through places like Citi, and here's US Bank. And when you add these things up, they got $61,400 in total credit. So they're building their business credit, and they're accessing physical, actual credit lines that they can take the cash out on in the process. A pretty cool thing to access when we talk about startups. And I'll tell you how to get access to this here a little bit as we actually dive in and go into the loan piece of this. Now, the third option, if you don't want to provide a personal guarantee, or if you don't want to have your personal credit pulled or don't have good credit. And again, even if you don't have good credit, I'll talk to you in a little bit about how to still get that funding option we just talked about, even if you don't have good credit. But if you don't have one of those two options or don't want to spend the $1,500 to $2,000 with D&B, you don't have the good credit or want to go with the personal guarantee option, well, then you go with this option, which are starter vendors. These are guys that will give you initial credit even if you have none established now. Now, they usually offer net terms like net 30, which gives you 30 days to pay what you borrow, versus revolving where you could pay minimal monthly payments. And you've got to find vendors that do report to the business reporting agencies and who will approve you with no prior credit established. I'm going to introduce you to a bunch of those sources here in a few minutes as we dive in and take a look at the fastest way to build business credit. So you've got to have 5 of these accounts reporting. It doesn't matter if you're using the Visa, the MasterCard cash credit with good credit that I just talked about as option 2, or the vendor credit in option 3. You need 5 accounts to move on to step 4 in this process. Now, some starter vendors include Uline, Quill, even Wells Fargo has a secured credit card, which does require average or better credit for that. But Quill and Uline have no personal guarantee, no personal credit check for approval. Now, you got to be careful. Most vendors, over 97%, I personally believe it's 99%, but the stats on this show that it's 97% of vendors don't report to the reporting agencies. You have to be careful. There's a lot of companies out there that actually reported at one time and no longer report. And I see people all the time that try to use forums, even use our videos to build their own business credit. And the problem is they're going out and using access, or they're trying to get approved for credit for vendors that no longer report. Then they wait for months for those accounts to report, only to find out that they never were going to report, and they've lost 2-3 months worth of time. So again, I'm going to show you how to shortcut the process and not make those mistakes as we dive in a little bit further, so you don't run into those obstacles that literally will cost you months and months worth of time. So either way, Whether you go with the personal guarantee or the no personal guarantee option, then what you want to do is you need to have 5 accounts reporting before you can start to get actual other accounts without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check, the ones with limits that are 10 to 100 times higher than with consumer credit cards. Now, with this step, you start to get approved for store credit cards. Again, Amazon, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, almost any retailer you do business with offers these kind of commercial credit cards. You also start to get fleet credit. Fleet credit's where you get fuel and maintenance for vehicles and auto repairs covered. So if it's on your vehicle, well, then it's definitely helpful. If it's on a fleet of vehicles, or like you're an over-the-road trucker, well, this becomes crucial because it could be $600 or more to fill up your gas tank. Your truck breaks down, you have all kinds of maintenance and repairs. So fleet credit becomes very useful, and you can start to get all this when you have at least 5 accounts reporting. Now, that's the key. Again, when I say you can get this kind of credit with 5 accounts, the reality is you can start to get some of these accounts with 5 trade lines. And I'm going to show you here in a few minutes how you can actually easily tell exactly how many trade lines you need to get to these different tiers of accounts. So here's some actual approvals from one of our clients, Christine. And again, Christine has been on one of our webinars as well, where she's mapped out the entire process she went through. At the time she got $158,000 in credit. She's now over $250,000 in credit that she's obtained as well. These are her actual real approvals. So you see in the beginning, she starts to get $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 approvals. Sprint $2,000, Amazon $4,500, Exxon $5,000, Fuelman Fleet $6,000, BJ $7,000. That's a cash credit card actually. BP $8,000. Now she's in the transportation industry, so she got a lot of fleet credit. She gets a lot of gas credit because that's what the industry she's in. If she worked out of an office, she'd be getting Office Depot and the Staples, and she'd be getting a lot more office store type credit, but she's in the transportation industry, which is why she goes and gets fleet credit, which is why she's in here getting gas credit cards, for example. Then as these accounts start to report, she starts to jump up to the $10,000, $15,000 limits, the $10,000 at Lowe's, the $12,500 at Apple. Shell 15, Office Depot 15, Sunoco, Sears 15,000. Then she just starts to jump to the top tier, where you start to get to 20,000 plus pretty quick. Costco 20,000, Best Buy 40, Dell 40, Ford. She actually is getting her vehicle without the personal guarantee, without the personal credit check. Got that through Ford and got approved for 40. She's even got a roofing account with an individual limit of 75,000. These are all individual limit credit accounts. No consumer credit check was required for approval. No personal guarantee. As a matter of fact, when I asked Christine on the webinar, did you provide a personal credit check? She paused and said, no, they never even asked me for my personal credit. So, Christine, I hear a little bit of echo there. If you don't mind while you're not talking, if you could mute your microphone, that would be awesome. Okay, so everybody, hopefully you can hear me. You can see the screen here. Okay, see the results that somebody's actually obtained and talk to them. And then together, Christine and I are going to literally map out the exact process of how we got here. Now, what's interesting is I changed the title of the webinar. You can see here how Christine got over 118,000 in business credit approvals is what it was last month. But Christine, you just got a $40,000 approval. Was that right? Just a matter of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was. When we applied for it, it was a question as to how much we were going to get. Although it doesn't report to the credit report as of yet, it's one of those ones. It's going to be a UTC filing, but we can spend up to $40,000 on any kind of equipment that we need. So it was really a very large blessing. It's something that we can hold on to when we are able to fully expand and go from there.
Well, great, great. Now, somebody said in the chat here that there's no sound, and hopefully that's not the case. Can see and hear you. Everybody else says they can see and hear, so you might want to test and just something with your microphone or something to that effect. Everybody else is saying it sounds okay. So I just changed it. Here we are. It was 118,000 when we originally scheduled this webinar. Christine just got a $40,000 business credit approval. We're going to show you a lot of this credit on our physical business credit reports, but most importantly, we're going to map out the exact process that Christine took to get here. Because Christine, it wasn't an easy process. You tried some other companies, tried some systems, and had a lot of failures before you started to get success. Is that right?
Yes. We've been trying to build business credit for over 2 years now. And once we found your program, we just took off. So awesome. The other companies would put the the smaller starter trades, take the money and do minimal or do things that were not ethical. And I'm like, I can't deal with companies like this. I am in business. I need to survive. I need to get funding for my company. So when I found your program, we were like, okay, how legit is he? So I started doing it, and it just took off. It really just took off.
That's fantastic, and that's one of the reasons, everybody, I wanted to bring Christine on work for me, and it's because they worked with not so straight or legitimate companies, or they tried to do it on their own, and they ran into blockades and they failed. And I don't want you to have those failures. What I want to do is take the years that Christine spent trying and get rid of all that and just give you the exact formula of success so you can come in and skip the years of trying to figure it out, jump to the part where you know exactly what to do and actually start executing. That is our goal, and that is exactly what you're going to learn during the webinar today. So today we're going to be diving in and talking about how Christine got over 148,000 of business credit approvals. I say quickly, but she actually has obtained this over the last 90 days. This is not the only credit she has. Very important to mention. Of the 148,000, I'm not even including any of the initial vendor credit that she actually obtained to start her business credit profile and score. I'm only talking about verifiable accounts we've seen populate in the last 90 days that she's got approved for and started to populate on her business credit reports as well. So let me tell you a little bit about Christine. Christine is the owner and operator of Farrell Transportation, your story here as well. Now, Farrell Transportation on their credit report established 8 of 2015. Here's a little bit more about them. So Christine, tell us a little bit more about what your business does.
Well, for a while we were hauling equine horses and things like that, but we got out of it. There was just too much competition, and we're sticking to what we know. We usually do dry vans or over-the-road trucking, and we have done some hazmat, but we usually just lease the vehicle to a company and have them dispatch the load, and we pay the drivers from there. We're not a very large company. We're less than 10 people, but we do what we can, and we're looking to actually purchase companies down south in Texas and expand and just trying to be able to further our business and go be able to be more self-sufficient and be able for my husband to come home instead of being one of the drivers that we have to pay, have him help me, and him be able to say, hey, you take this load here, you take this load here, and just have the lifestyle that we've always wanted.
And you know, guys, this is a very interesting story and a very interesting path that a lot of you that are just starting in business will soon experience. Nothing in business ever works out like we think that it will. So you can see here that Christine's describing a business model they had, they went into, they believed in, they tested. It did not work out well for them. So they were able to shift their business into a couple other different directions and be successful. But the problem is that when you don't have the capital to learn these lessons and make adjustments, this is why so many businesses fail in this country. When we look at the two biggest reasons for business failure, one is mismanagement. It's managers and entrepreneurs that we don't exactly know what we're doing. We're kind of going through this trial and error to figure things out as we go. And the second reason is lack of access to capital, meaning that when we don't have the money to support us, we can't afford to make a lot of mistakes. And when we do make mistakes, then it puts us out of business. So today I'm going to teach you how to get capital that's not linked to your social, regardless of personal credit, regardless of cash flow, regardless of collateral, so you, like Christine, can have that capital to back you to be able to see things aren't working, make adjustments, have failures, then turn around and have successes. You can do all of this as long as you have the capital to back you to be able to make it happen, and that's really our goal for today. And you know, Gregory, I think is one of the people on here that's saying, yes, you know, it's completely legitimate, it works excellent. So there's a lot of people on here that have also had success beyond Christine, as there are with our live streams as well. So, you know, as you heard Christine say, she struggled for about 2 years, worked with a lot of different or a few different business credit companies, and had some bad experiences. So, Christine, give us a little bit more specifics about some of the problems you had trying to do this on your own, working with some other companies, and kind of what ensued out of that.
Well, it all started back in 2011 because when we incorporated the company, we went to LegalZoom. when we got all the paperwork, they didn't tell us we had something called a Dun & Bradstreet number. We had no idea this thing existed. So fast forward to about 2014, 2015, we had heard somebody in passing mention something about it, so we researched it. We go to apply for it, and we get declined because we already have one. This was a big news flash to us. We're like, what is this, and how do we find it? So we're calling LegalZoom. We called D&B, and they finally were able to give us all the information we were looking for, because this was not provided to us. This was not told to us. This was not even remotely mentioned. It was like we were not supposed to know about this. It was a dirty little secret, and we weren't supposed to know. But with all that, we found a company that said, okay, in 90 days, once you get this 80 paydex score, no matter what, once you get that magic 80 number, you can get whatever you want. They didn't tell us that you have to have not only starter trades, you have to have fleet cards, you have to have all these lines built up for that 80 to be able to get to where they were saying. They gave us, I think, 3 starter trade lines. We're trying to repair the personal credit as well, and let's just say it didn't go very well.
But what we're going to talk about today is a program that doesn't require good personal credit, doesn't require credit repair to get approved. It gets you access to the 20,000 Costco and the 15,000 Sunoco and a lot more of those type of credit. We're going to break down Christine's actual approvals here in a minute, and you'll get a feel for what's actually possible. So she struggled to be able to get the financing to start and grow with a 2-year process, 3 different companies that said, well, we'll do it for you, or we'll get you $250,000 at 0%, or all these other things just to go through and find the pitfalls. And again, that's exactly why we're here, because we don't want you to have that happen. So she couldn't really qualify for the loans and the credit, which is why she was building the business credit and financing, and then started to build business credit with a few other companies, spent considerable time struggling to get credit, 2 years plus, and then only ended up with the basic starter accounts, which I'm going to teach you how to get within days of leaving this webinar today. So literally you could take that couple of years and all that money that Christine spent to learn what I'm going to show you today for you to be able to come in and start getting approvals right away, then start jumping to these kind of approvals that Christine has. Now, as she mentioned, she actually saw our information online, and this was, I think, about now going on a few months ago, about 3 months ago, and then really started to follow a lot of the methodologies, and she kind of told you part of the story since. Went out, and the first thing she did was get a $15,000 Sunoco, move forward and started to get $20,000 Costco, and we'll go through a lot of the approvals. Keep in mind, she's a transportation company. They deal with driving. They deal with these type of things. So to get $15,000 and $20,000 gas credit cards, Christine, I mean, how big of a deal was that for you?
That was insanely crazy. I mean, I was expecting 2,500, 5,000 maybe, because I always thought, our BP card was only $8,000. So I'm like, okay, I don't think we're going to do much more than that. But I've had people message me say, how is it you're being so greedy with these the amounts you're given? And I've messaged them back politely. I'm like, you have to take into consideration the kind of work we do. The kind of money we spend on a daily, weekly, monthly basis is going to be completely different than a T-shirt factory, a nonprofit organization. Everybody's is different. And I'm not saying I'm being greedy with these approvals, but also, too, that the creditors are going to look at what you do, what kind of income you garner, if they ask for this stuff. And then they're looking at, okay, if they're in transportation, they're going to spend a lot of money monthly on these cards. But that's kind of a different story, but people have to look at that too. It's what I'm getting is not going to be what somebody else is going to get, or the other company that I own will not be getting these kind of amounts. Right. So it's kind of a two-sided thing.
Well, and that's one of the
So,
things
but
we talked about is that, one of the benefits of business credit is that the approvals are 10 to 100 times higher than consumer credit. You can get $20,000, $30,000 limit accounts within 60, 90 days, maybe a little longer, because, and it seems crazy to you, to individuals, but as a business, we need access to that much money. That's nothing. We can
right.
split 40, 50,000 on credit cards in a matter of weeks and then pay them off. And that's basically what Christine is describing too. So one of the things that she'd said to me through an email is we've really just been through the mill on this. I've been learning every way not to build business credit. When I came across your videos 2 months ago, I really did just take off with the funding after that. So in the past 2 months, we've seen major improvements, and we're really looking to grow from here. We've been through 3 other companies with little no results except for an empty bank account. And this is exactly from one of the emails that Christine had actually sent me on this topic. So again, this is very, very, very typical where, once you know the formula, you can do what Christine did. In 2 years, she only got starter accounts. In 2 months, she was able to start getting multitude of $10,000, $15,000 accounts once the formula was unlocked, which again is the major purpose of today. So after working, she just got approved for over 118,000. It's now 148 in credit ever since learning the system, because she just got a $40,000 approval. None of this credit was obtained using her personal social, credit check, or with a personal guarantee. One of the coolest things, Christine, you've ever said to me was on Periscope when I said, did you provide a social security number to get any of this credit? And you said to me, they never asked. So is that right? They never even asked for your social because your initial business credit was established.
No, they never asked.
So here's how business credit works. You start with starter vendor accounts, which I'm going to tell you in a few minutes how to get. Then you move to store credit. Then you start to get fleet credit, and what Christine mentioned, the commercial cards, which are cards you can use in a multitude of places. That's how this actually looks. I want you to see it on a slide. We're going to look at it on real business credit reports as well, and then I'm going to map out the process. Now, somebody's asking, all these using only EIN. So Christine, the question is, are all of these accounts I list here you got using only your EIN? Did you provide your social security number with any of the accounts that I've listed here?
Absolutely no. No social security number was supplied. They might ask for your DMB number, but it's strictly off of the EIN. Very rarely will you get a company ask for DMB, but no social was supplied whatsoever.
And guys, just so you know, sometimes they won't even ask for your EIN, and this confuses people, especially in the beginning. And it's because you can pull somebody's business credit report with only their business name and address. So in the beginning, Uline and Quill, these guys won't even ask you for an EIN number. Some of them, like Gimplers, will ask for your DUNS number. So they're all a little different. Some won't ask for DUNS, some will. Some won't even ask for EIN, some will. When you start to get to this level, they almost all ask for your EIN. But as Christine said, most of them never even asked for her social. Some of them did ask because they didn't know any better. She moved up to a supervisor and got around that without providing her social. One of the biggest reasons that you should pay attention to business credit is that it's the only kind of financing you can get where you don't need cash flow, you don't need good credit, and you don't need collateral for approval. If you don't have cash flow, credit, or collateral, you typically can't get a loan. All of those are required for big bank loans. With business credit, you don't need to verify or provide any of this, and you can still get approved. And again, it gives you access to loans, credit lines, which means you can fund your business, okay? And you can use your profits to grow. Instead of using your profits to try to refund your business, you can use the capital you're obtaining to fund your business, which is why Christine's business is having such success, and that obviously gives you a competitive advantage. The reason they never asked her is because they pull her business credit account, they see 10 trade lines, and then they start approving her automatically just based on trades. So all of this is what's really possible and real results from an actual client. And if you ever come on our Facebook and Periscope streams, you'll see how we verified these. We have her come on, we have a lot of people chime in, they tell us how much credit they get, we pull their business credit reports, and we verify because we see the accounts there. So we verify all this before we even put it out there and show you that these are the kind of results you get. So these are the kind of results you're going to get when you have at least 5 accounts reporting on your business credit reports. Now, when you have at least 10 accounts reporting, Then you start to get to Visa cards. Then you start to get to MasterCards. Then you start to get the financing without the personal guarantee and without the personal credit check. About 2 weeks ago, one of our followers on Periscope just got a $20,000 Chase Inc. credit card with no personal guarantee, with no personal credit check. This is when you start to get the auto vehicle financing without the personal guarantee, without the personal credit check. You need at least 10 accounts to get to this point. Now, a lot of people ask me, how long does it take to build business credit? Well, it depends. If you're doing it on your own, it can take you years because you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes on the way. And I'll show you here in literally just within minutes how to avoid making those mistakes. But realistically, how long it takes to build business credit comes down to how long it takes accounts to report. On average, it takes accounts to report about 30 days. So if you come in and get 5 accounts in step 3, then you use those accounts, you pay the bill. From the time you pay the bill, it takes about 30 days for those accounts to start reporting. When those accounts start reporting, then you actually have the trade lines on there. When the trade lines show, you can move to the next tier. It's in between these steps. To get the credit, use the credit, have the credit report. Once the credit reports, then you have enough trade lines to move forward. It's also important to note that here's a big misconception when it comes to building business credit. So many people believe that business credit's based on the amount of revenue you generate in time in business. You know why? A lot of people have room to believe that. Because if you go to an Office Depot or a Staples, their applications will tell you you need to be in business 3 years. They'll tell you you need $1 million in revenue. But what really happens is if you go to Staples or Office Depot with 5, 6, 7, 8 accounts on your credit report, 8 trade lines, and you don't have $1 million in revenue, you don't have 3 years in business, you'd still get approved. So the approvals they issue really are not based on revenue or time in business. Why? Because you can lie about that stuff if you wanted to. They need something concrete you can't lie about, and they use trade lines as the real concrete evidence of how established your business is. You have the trade lines, you get automated approvals. It's all based on the number of trade lines you have and knowing how many trade lines each individual source requires to be able to get approved for. So here's some actual business credit approvals. Here's one for 12 grand. Here's one for 10. Here's one for 22,000, Chase credit card. Another one for 15,000 from Citi. Here's one for 10,000 from Chase. One from 8,000 from Inc. Here's one for 7,000. Here's one for 50,000 from American Express. Here's another for 10,000 for Bank of America. 24 grand from Amex. Here's another 50,000 from Amex as well. So again, this is the result of what happens when you build business credit. You start to be able to obtain a lot of these high limit accounts, and in a lot of cases, like Marlon's, you're getting the credit without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. So here's another one of our clients, Marlon, I was looking for a fast way to get money to grow my credit business. After failing to get approved for loans in several banks, after getting initial vendor accounts, I continued applying and getting all types of credit, and now have over 100 business credit cards in my wallets, totaling over $1 million in total available credit. I have fleet credit that I use for auto repairs and fuels. I have cash credit cards with most major banks, including Bank of America and Wells Fargo. I secured almost all this credit without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check, and I've been able to get loans with many sources, including PayPal and Cabbage, and low rates and loan amounts over 100 grand. So I want to give a disclaimer here. Look, any testimonial that I give you is absolutely real. As a matter of fact, I do these interviews. I do interviews with our clients, and this is where these testimonials actually come from. If you ever want, our team will get you Marlon's interview. We'll get you the samples, recent interview. I'll even send you one of the samples interviews in a webinar. If you're staying to the end, I'll send it to you in the email. I'm going to send your playback. Secondly, how much credit you really get, 100 grand, 250, as we've seen a couple people get, $1 million plus as Marlon. And there's a reason that I made Marlon on the left. This is the left image, is a screenshot of my interview with him. There's a reason I have him show the cards. Because let's be real, $1 million in business credit seems pretty crazy. So this is why I have him physically show the cards during my interviews, so you can actually see that he's really obtained this credit. So how much credit can you get? It depends on how much you apply for. Just like with consumer credit, there's no cap of how much money you can use your credit to get. How much you get depends on how much you apply for. So that's my FTC disclosure, is that these results may not be typical. What's typical for you is going to depend on how much credit you apply for. There's no ceiling of how much you can get or how fast you can get it. How much you get depends on how many accounts you apply for. How fast you get it depends on how many accounts you're applying for in the early stages. The more credit you apply apply for, the more you get, the higher the limits you get, as you just saw in the beginning with trade lines. And again, you start to get more and more credit with higher and higher limits. This is the end goal of what I'm looking to accomplish for you. So how do you get business credit? We haven't talked about loans. We haven't talked about credit lines. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a lot of the things I told you I would reference. I referenced a lot of things early, and I said I would show you how to do those things. I'm going to get into that right now and physically show you how our clients go through this process, how our clients are actually building business credit. So you'll see exactly how Marlon got his results, how the samples got their results, how all these clients you're seeing actually got real results, not just the theory that I went over with you, but I'm actually going to give you the inside scoop here. I'm going to let you into something and show you exactly how these clients are getting these results, how they're condensing years of business credit building into only months. Then, after I do a walkthrough here of this, which shouldn't take more than probably 10 minutes, then I'm going to actually show you the loans and the credit lines and how to access all that so we can still wrap up within our 90-minute time frame here and get to any questions you may have. So this is the home screen of what we call our business finance suite. There's a lot of things we can do here, but I'm going to go ahead and jump in and go to the business credit builder. So as we talked about, the business credit building really comes down to steps, and this looks like a quick overview of the steps we talked about. You set up the credibility, you're getting the reports, you start building your business credit, you access your credit monitoring, and you continue through the tiers of business credit building. So this is what the process really looks like. Now, in our finance suite, we actually break this down into sub-steps, and this makes it really easy for you to get little chunks done as time permits, because we're all business owners, we're all busy. So when we jump into step one, we talk about the importance of that business credibility. Now, you'll see that this finance suite's completely custom user experience. So if you have a business name, you say yes, you enter your name, you move on pretty quick. Okay, if you don't have your business name, you click no, and then we walk through and we introduce you to the Secretary of State records. We view those restricted industries. So we talked about those restricted industries earlier. You can make sure your business isn't in a restricted industry so you can come in and avoid high-risk industry names. You'll see quick videos that'll walk you through the actual process in English and in Spanish. As a matter of fact, if I change this down here to Spanish, you'll see that everything in the entire suite just completely changed to Spanish in one click. Quick to change between English and Spanish. So the very first thing we're going to do is set up the business credibility. Now remember the samples. Remember we talked about how she got denied for bank loans? Here's why she got denied. Step 1.2. She actually had an address mismatch. So we actually will do 4 checks to make sure that your address meets the criteria that lenders and credit issuers look at. Like I said, I gave you a quick overview of some of the information they're looking at for credibility. There's actually a lot of things that you need to know that you need to make sure that you meet to get approved. Well, those address mismatches is what was causing the samples to get denied. When they fixed it, they then were able to immediately come in and get the Amex. That's how they got the result they got. They got denied with banks. They came in, they fixed the address mismatch. That helped them start to get the initial business credit, which got them the Amex card, which got them approved for the loans. So in this, we're walking through the same criteria to make sure that your business meets the address requirements that the lenders and credit issuers have. We help you set up your entity here, your website and email. We get your EIN number for free. We make sure your licensing is set up. We help make sure your business bank account and your bank statements actually meet the criteria that lenders and credit issuers have. We walk through and help you get a merchant account if you need one. We even help you with all aspects of setting up your phone number, your toll-free number, your fax number, and right here, if you select your listed with 411, we automatically list you with 411 as well. So you don't need to pay the $400 a year you would need to pay to list yourself, or $500 a year with services like Yext, or $2,000 a year for places like Credit Builder. We do it here for you for free. And by the way, yes, we do pay for this. We do work with List Yourself. They're one of the biggest bills that we incur monthly. We pay for this for all of our clients, and we do it for a reason. Because one of the most important things you need to start getting credit in step 3 is an EIN number and a 411. And by the way, I'm going to show you a bunch of starter vendors as we jump into step 3 here. So in step 1, we set up that credibility. Now keep in mind, you do not ever go through this process alone. We work with you hand in hand. What makes our clients go from taking years to months is that they work with our business advisors hand in hand. They will call you. They will email you. They will call you 5 times in the first 5 days. They will stay on the phone with you and help you go through the steps. They will stay on the phone and help you apply. They will also be available to answer questions you have. You can click chat during the day. At night, it's help. You can also call or email. We're here from 9 to 7 Eastern time, and we will help you as well as reach out to you and help coach you through the process to succeed. Why that matters? Because what if you apply for the DUNS number and it doesn't show up? What if you apply for Staples and get denied? What if you apply for a vendor credit and you get denied? Well, again, a lot of people get stuck and don't know where to go. There's nobody they can go to for help. So they spend months trying to find the answers or give up. We don't want you to do that. So the advisor and having people help you through this process really is the key of going from it taking years to actually being able to get it done in months. Now, then we help you after we set up the credibility. Again, you're seeing here that we practice what we preach. The next thing we do is help you get set up with reporting agencies. We help you get your DUNS number, which you can get at no cost. Even though DMB will try to convince you that you need to spend thousands for it, DMB will tell you that you need to pay to get your DUNS and credit profile activated. Well, in this step 2, we get your DUNS. In step 3, we help activate your credit profile with DMB, Equifax, and Experience. So in one click, we're helping you come in and actually get your DUNS number. And we're also helping you do those free checks. Remember, with the importance of looking at your credit reports to see what's on there to make sure that you haven't been issued a failing score. Well, right here, we help you do the free checks with Experian, with Equifax, and with DMB to make sure that you don't have anything on your credit report that needs to be addressed before you actually come in and start applying for credit. The next thing we do is we help you access real starter vendors. Now, these are the credit issuers that will give you credit even when nobody else will. Now, I can show you a bunch of sources here, and you can see there's a bunch of them here, but there's a lot in showing you that it will make a difference for a couple of reasons. First of all, a lot of these sources are unique to us. We actually work with companies that have great product and services. We actually help them report to the business credit reporting agencies, and we basically develop exclusive relationships so only our clients are able to actually work with them and build their business credit. So there's a lot of sources we have in here that you've never seen, you don't even know exist, because again, it's something that our clients have exclusive access to. Others like Quill, well, it's not exclusive. Anybody can work with Quill. But here's the thing. It's not a matter of knowing the sources. It's a matter of knowing the specifics of the sources. So for each source, we're listing who they report to. Why this matters is because, again, we talked about how many trade lines you have on the business credit reports. Well, basically, they're called payment experiences. And one account that reports to 2 reporting agencies counts as 2 payment experiences. So if you want to build business credit faster, you get credit with the credit issuers that report to 2 or 3 reporting agencies, and then you can really expedite your business credit building. So instead of getting 5 individual accounts to get your 5 trades, you could get 2 or 3 accounts that report to 2 or 3 reporting agencies to get your 5 trades. With each source, we list a description of what they sell, 1 click to apply. And we also make it easy to give you the exact underwriting criteria that you must meet to get approved. Now, here's why this matters. Because Quill is a perfect example. You have to spend $50 to get it reported. And another thing you need to know about Quill, it takes them 90 days to report the actual account. So here's why this matters. If you go into Quill and you think they report monthly because you didn't have this information and you spent $30, and then you wait, and 60 days later it hasn't reported, and you go to Quill and say, why doesn't it report? And Quill says, well, we only report every 90 days. You say, no big deal, I'll wait another month. You wait another month, it still doesn't report. You call Quill, and the Quill says, you have to spend $50 to get it reported. And you're like, come on, man, I didn't know that. Well, you just wasted 3 months worth of time to get 1 account reported. Here's why knowing the underwriting guidelines is so important to your success. So knowing the tiers, the order of credit to apply for, is so crucial that there's several safeguards that we put in place to help you do it. We help you set up your business credibility. We gray out any accounts you can't get and only add colors to accounts that you can. And then we also come in and we list the actual underwriting guidelines for every source, so you'll know exactly what it takes to get approved. If you don't know this, then you make the biggest biggest and most common mistake in business credit building. You're applying for credit out of order before you can get approved. The other thing that we do is we actually tell you with every source exactly how many accounts you need reporting to get approved, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. So in step 4, we save you a ton of money because you need to access your credit reports to build business credit. This makes sense, right? Because to build business credit, you need to be able to see how many trade lines are on your credit reports. Remember, moving from tier to tier in business credit building comes down to how many accounts you have reported. Well, the only way you can know how many accounts you have reported is to actually be able to come in and be able to see your credit reports. So you can come in here and get set up. DMB's credit monitoring is $159 a month. Experience credit monitoring is about $50 a month, and Equifax is about $20. But you don't really need Equifax. You need Experian and DMB because that's where most credit issuers report to. Equifax isn't as big of a deal. So those two will cost you $210 a month. And I'm going to show you something really cool. With us, you don't spend $210 for Experian and DMB. You come right over here to two places. You can come over to be able to access your business credit reports. Well, let's go right here to Credit Report Dashboard. And once you do this, you'll be able to pull up your actual credit report with Experian and with DMB. You'll be able, through our nav integration, to be able to see factors that actually affect your score, utilization, how it affects your score, derogatory items, how it affects your scores. You'll be able to see your actual reports, your summary data here. You'll be able to see your business information, factors influencing your score, all the summary information, tax liens, UCC filings, and actual trade line data. So you'll be able to see this with not only just Experian, but you'll get access to your full DMB reports as well. You can see factors affecting your score, the same thing, derogatories and credit utilization. You'll actually be able to see your report data too. Business information, summary data, lawsuits, UCC filings. You'll even be able to come in and see all your trade line information. And unlike $210 going directly to Experian and DMB, the Finance Suite gives you access to the absolute cheapest credit monitoring anywhere. It's $24 a month. Now, not everybody gets this, okay? I'll show you here in a few minutes how to get access to it. A lot of our clients do not have access to this, okay? But if you are given access, then you can get your credit reports for cheaper than anywhere else, which is $24 a month versus $210. That saves you $2,200 a year. Plus, you can also come in here and fix inaccuracies with all three reporting agencies as well. So if you have negative information on DMB, Equifax, and Experian, like I said, one click, you're getting access. So you can get video training here if you want training on what you need to know, or you can just come in here, click on DMB, Equifax, and Experian, and dispute the inaccuracies. So far to date, 100% of accounts that we've helped clients dispute have been removed from credit reports. I'm not telling you we're perfect. I'm not saying that at all. I'm telling you at some point we're not going to get a deletion. I'm sure we will. But at this point, every account we've ever helped a client dispute has been removed. So again, we help you fix derogatory items on your credit report as well. Once we've done so, then we also help you come in and read your credit reports because, again, credit reports are very different than consumer credit reports. With commercial credit reports, they don't show a credit issuer name, for example. They only show the type of account you have. They show sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different kind of credit scores. So we help you come in and learn how to navigate these credit reports, and I could turn off Spanish here if I want to. So you actually know how to read them, how to control your scores to make it even easier and faster for you to be able to build business credit. Now, once you've got those 5 accounts reporting, well, then you can start to get approved for credit here. And the other safeguard that we use is we tell you exactly how many trade accounts you need reporting to be able to get approved for even more credit. As a matter of fact, you can see here what it looks like when I don't qualify. I did this intentionally so you can see what it looks like when credit accounts are grayed out because you don't have enough credit to actually come in and get approved. So you can see here that you get fleet credit cards. You're getting credit at places like Budget and ABC and Macy's and AutoZone, Lowe's, Staples, HD, Amazon credit. This is all the kind of credit that you get when you start to have at least 5 accounts reporting. Now, as you continue to build more and more credit, then you start to come in and get more and more tiers of credit open for you. You start to get Office Depot and Staples and Tractor Supply and Walmart, and you start to get Amazon's revolving. And again, we're telling you where each one reports to. So this is a great one because it reports to all 3. We're letting you apply in one click, and we're even giving you all the instructions you need to know on how to get approved for the credit without the personal guarantee on every single source. Chevron and BP and Speedway and Conoco and on and on and on. I could just continue to scroll and scroll and scroll. So as I come down here and get to the top tier, 14 trades to report here. You start to get auto vehicle financing and Dell and Racetrack. You start to get MasterCards. You start to get access to Home Depot and Sam's Club and all different kind of accounts. As a matter of fact, we've even got other accounts here that don't report to the reporting agencies, but accounts you can still get access to. Places like Newegg and AT&T for phones and Ford for vehicle financing and PayPal for loans and T-Mobile and Sprint and Fundbox for loans and Wave and, I mean, Apple. And so, again, it's a matter of now at this point, you come in and just at will get access to the actual credit that you want to get. So again, now you've seen what the process really looks like. Now you're also able to come in here and get financing. So we haven't talked about loans and credit lines. So with loans and credit lines, the Finance Suite also gives you access to every legitimate loan and credit line that exists out there today. We vet them through thousands of different lenders. Literally, we maintain a list of thousands of different lenders that offer these kind of programs. So you can get money even when you can't get money in a bank. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have consistent revenue. Well, then that opens up revenue financing. It opens up private equity financing. It opens up term loans. It opens up lines of credit just based on revenue. You can come in, you can learn more, you can apply as well. You're not applying through a bank. You're working with your own finance team. We have finance officers and finance processors. So think of it like this. When you need money, where would you go? Well, our clients just email, call, or click chat and engage with their finance officer. Then we sit down, we develop a finance blueprint. We talk about all the money you can get now. We talk about even more money that you can get in the future and develop a blueprint for you to be able to actually access that money. So if your credit strength is that you have unsecured credit or you have good personal credit or a guarantor that does. So even if you have a guarantor, a family member, a friend, somebody that has good credit, then you can get up to $150,000 in unsecured financing at the 0% rates with the 680 FICO score. We help you get that. We also have many credit lines as well. Maybe you need to get equipment. Maybe you need to buy inventory. Maybe you need to buy commercial real estate. Maybe you have stocks, bonds, a 401k. Maybe you have equipment. Maybe you have account receivables or purchase orders. Maybe you have a book of business, or maybe you want to flip homes, or maybe you have commercial vehicles you want to buy. Any of that, we can help you get financing to use things like equipment to borrow against to get money, or get money to buy equipment. Even with good credit, even with bad credit, we've got options that will work. We just included 2 brand new credit lines. One credit line, no consumer credit check whatsoever. If you have about $100,000 in revenue, you can get approved for it with no consumer credit check. And it happens, and you fund within 24 to 48 hours. We just added a brand new credit line yesterday. You can get up to $150,000. You need a 620 FICO score to get approved if you have consistent revenue. We've got another credit line here through revenue financing just based on bank account management. And if you have a good bank account management, you don't overdraw your bank account, you can get a credit line here with no personal credit check. So tons of real credit lines with 0% to 5% interest rates based on the strength of your business, even when you can't get loans. So as you can see, here's a client that actually went through the process on the financing side. His name's Dr. Brandon. He needed $417,000 to actually pay off a tax lien because he was closing his practice because the IRS was after him. Well, we came in, he had credit issues, he didn't have collateral, a lot of banks had denied him, we got multiple rounds of funding, we got him the money, he paid off the IRS, he opened up a second practice, even ran for public office, and so far it's got over $1 million, $1.5 million in funding. And how did we do it? We did it because a lender can't do what we do. We combined different kind of financing. We got them unsecured financing. We got them revenue loans. We got them private investor money. So because we work with so many different kinds of funding, we're able to get them a lot more money in better terms because we work with all legitimate types of financing, not just some. So you're watching this webinar on the computer, tablet, phone, because you're looking for the easiest and fastest way to get money to grow. You probably have already struggled to get the money and credit you need, and probably are looking for the easiest solution to get so. Well, when you look at our finance suite, you're basically getting business credit for your business that's not linked to your social through the top-selling business credit system. This is a system that, again, we've helped over 10,000 people build business credit today, and you're getting access to every legitimate funding option. If you don't have this, where do you go if you need money? I mean, how statistics show you will not succeed unless you have access to capital. So we make it easy by putting all this business credit and financing in one place. And you can do so in English or in Spanish. You can come in and get the cutting edge technology to meet the credibility requirements before you apply. Set up your business name correctly. Set up your entity, your EIN, your address credibly. Get your phone number set up. Get listed with 411, which saves you $400. Get your website email address set up. Check your licensing and online listings for compliance. Again, just address verification alone, we do four searches that almost every business we find fails. That's the underlying reason they get denied for loans. Well, you could be get denied for loans again and again, banging your head against the wall unless you really understand the nitty-gritty of what these issuers are looking for of credit and lenders, and we help you through that process, even getting your bank account and merchant account set up in a way where those things will even help you get approved for more money. We help you get set up with all 3 reporting agencies and credit activated with the 3 credit reporting agencies and get your DUNS. So again, Dun & Bradstreet will try to tell you it's $1,500 just to activate your credit profile and get your DUNS. Well, we help you do all those things with all the reporting agencies and get your DUNS with DMB without having to pay that. We help you fix inaccuracies with all 3 reporting agencies because stuff happens. And if something does happen to your credit report, even in the beginning, we want to make sure that you have an easy way to fix it. We have the largest supply of starter vendors, including exclusive sources, people that just help our customers offer business credit to them because we help them gain the ability to report. We worked with them to get their ability to report with DMB Equifax Experian. The most store credit, you saw almost every major retail store that you need is available. The hard-to-find Visa cards, the MasterCards, the fleet credit, the auto vehicle financing, none of this requires a personal guarantee or a personal credit check for approval. We get you the cash flow financing options with no consumer credit check. We get you asset collateral-based loans and credit lines with rates under 2%, the unsecured financing up to $150 grand, private money, alternative SBA, venture capital loans, term loans, and line of credit. A lot of them available with no credit check that you may never find on your own, all in one place to help you access the most amount of capital as well. So if you're looking to get started, if this makes sense to you, if you want to work with us, you can come in, build business credit, work with our finance suite, work with our team to do, and I'm going to do something that I don't do, but only a couple times a year. We don't offer discounts because we don't need to. We're the only ones that offer anything close to what we have. It's the only system where you could build business credit and get loans. It's the only system where you build business credit with the help of a full advising team. It's the only place where you access all financing products in one place and work with finance officers. So we don't usually discount. But as part of this webinar, I'm going to do something we usually only do a couple times a year, and I'm going to come in and we're actually going to give you a discount if it's something that makes sense for you, if you're interested in getting going. So our top plan with payments retails for about $7,000 if you go to our website. You can get started if you're looking to get started today, account here, but we'll work with you on payments. I'll give you information here to contact our team. The bottom line is, does this make sense for you? If you're doing this on your own, you're going to pay $2,200 more for credit monitoring. You're going to do a lot, pay even more on your own to do it than work with us. And we're also giving you a discount where you're able to get it going for just one payment of $2,500. Guys, think of it like this. Credit monitoring alone is $288 a year with us. If you go to Experian and DMB, you're going to spend $2,500. Credit monitoring alone that you save with us is $2,200 a year. Every year you save that. Not to mention 411, not to mention everything else that we're giving you where you're actually saving money. So it's actually cheaper to work with us, and we actually help expedite the results as well. We'll customize a payment plan for you, and again, this discount's only available for this webinar, period. If you're enrolling this week through Friday, then you'll be able to get the discount. If not, you go back to our normal cost, which is about $3 grand for a bottom package. Everything, even if you make your first payment, you get access to your own finance suite login. You can log in 24/7 through your own URL, and you can also access it on mobile devices because we know you're going to love it. Once you check out, you immediately get login credentials. Our advisors will call you the first day, and they'll call you 5 times in the first 5 days and continue to call you after that. And I'm also going to go ahead and give you a bunch of really cool bonuses. One, you're going to get 30 minutes with our initial advising team. Any questions you have, any help you want them to stay on the phone while you go through the entire step 1, they'll do so. Step 2, or bonus 2, I'm going to get you access to the credit monitoring that not all of our clients have to save you that $2,200 a year. We're also going to give you a free business valuation. I didn't show you this, but it's pretty cool. We don't add it for everybody, but the business valuation lets you see how much your business is worth anytime you actually want to. You come right down here to business valuation. You enter some basic information about your business here, and it will actually give you an ongoing look of how much your business is actually worth. So at any given time, if you want to know how much your business is worth, we come in and you can use this business valuation tool. You'll spend at least 500 to $2,000 out there in the world finding out how much your business is worth. And I'll pull this up and show you in a second what this actually looks like so you can see how it tallies. But again, I'll go through the rest of this and I'll pull this up while I'm actually doing that and while I'm actually coming in and answering. So to recap, you get your own finance suite to access anytime you want. You get concierge service with your business advisors, the free DUNS and credit profile activation that D&B will charge $1,500 for. I didn't even show you this, but I showed you those snapshots of businesses where you can see their experience access. You get that for, which is $600 a year, but we give that to you for free. You're getting the largest supply of starter vendors and revolving store credit, the unsecured financing for up to $150,000 if you qualify, finance officer team, the free 411 listing, which is $360 a year, the cash, the Visa cards, the MasterCards, the Amex that you'll probably never find if you're trying to build business credit on your own. We help you fix inaccuracies with all the reporting agencies. You're getting fleet credit, all of this without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check, auto vehicle financing in your business name, credit monitoring where you're saving $2,200 a year, cash flow, collateral-based financing with rates lower than 2%. Maybe you can qualify for this now, maybe you can't. But the good thing is for the life of your business, we stay with you to help you get money whenever it is that you can. So the bottom line is that you're getting everything you need to be successful to build business credit, and at the exact same time, you're also getting everything you need if you're interested in offering business credit and financing as a service as well to be able to do so. And I told you I would show you how you can actually do the valuation. Here's what that valuation looks like. And this you can get anytime you want. We're going to give you a free valuation report. It's a 29-page report that tells you how much your business is worth, where it compares to other businesses in your industry, etc. But this is really cool. You enter this information in real time. It populates an estimate value of your business. So anytime you want to see how much your business is worth without paying a dime to do so, you basically can come in, enter some information with incomes, assets, etc., and it will calculate the actual value of your business. And that's using the business valuation tool, which again, this alone, if you try to go look online to see how much it is to get a business valuation, it's at least $600 to $2,000 at every source we found. So that alone is $600 to $2,000 every time you want your value. With this, you can get ongoing ideas of value without paying anything extra. That's part of the actual bonuses that you'll have. So we just looked at their company, Success Tax Relief. We looked at it at the beginning stages where they had 14 trades. Their Amex has no limit. They oftentimes spend about $100,000 a month on it. They have over $250,000 in business credit that they've already obtained. So again, you'll see at least a few of these examples to coincide with the actual title of the webinar. So here's clients that have secured over $250,000. They use business credit to make over $1 million their first year in business, and then this year they now make over $2 million.
Okay, I'll start. My wife had to step away real quick, but I'm Theophilus Sample. Currently, me and my wife, Thelma Sample, we started a business in the tax relief space, and we started actually, and I tell this story all the time because it's amazing how far we've come. But we worked at a former company, saw that there was an opportunity for us to be able to step out and to do this ourselves. And so we had about $1,200 that we actually started with. I had an old 83 Chevy pickup that I sold for $800. And I had a 55-inch flat screen TV I sold for $400. And with $1,200, we actually started services, and just following that particular system and doing everything that that the system suggested, we were able to obtain business credit.
So that's great result. So you were interested in business credit financing, came to us, got started building your business credit, going through the steps that are outlined in the finance suite, started to have success, built your business credit profile score, were able to then come in and get the Amex card right after your bank had turned you down. So phenomenal result. Now, I don't want to get to the results prematurely, but about how much have you obtained so far using the steps of building business credit? About how much credit have you obtained total overall since you started this process?
Total overall, it's more than 150,000.
Business credit. And then when you have 10 accounts reporting, you then move to cash credit, Visa cards, MasterCards, etc. So I'm going to wrap this up. The business credit portion. So what we'll talk about here's just so you guys can see actual real approvals. Here's one for 12 grand Visa card. Okay, here's another Visa for 10 grand. Here's a Chase for 22,000. Here's another one for 15,000. Here's another one for 10. Here's another one for 8. Another one for 7. A credit card for 50 grand that looks like Amex. Here's another 10 from Bank of America, another 24 from Amex, another 50 from Amex. So this is the kind of real approvals you can get. These are real approvals from real customers. So you can see what's possible with commercial credit following those exact steps. And I want to talk a little bit about financing. Then I'm going to show you the fastest way to do what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you the fastest way to build business credit that will help you get everything we just talked about as well. And here's one, another testimonial from Eric, who's one of our clients. Hey everybody, my name is Eric. Been using this for about a year, and a lot of people will tell you how great it is, how amazing the customer service is. I just prefer to show you. Take a look, and this comes from a video, and he's showing his business credit report of 86 score. That's what they did for me. Look at the average national score. This thing really works, and it's telling him how far above average he is.
Hey everybody, my name is Eric, and I've been using the Business Finance Suite for quite some time now. I've actually had it about a year, and a lot of people will get on here and tell you about how great it is and how amazing the customer service is and all of those things. I just would prefer to show you. So this might look a little weird on the video, but I am going to just turn my phone around here. That's what they did for me. You look down here, average national score. How's that? Guys, this thing really works. I cannot recommend it more. Thanks.
A real good look at exactly what's possible when you're building business credit and following these steps.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jared. Are you looking for business credit? I was searching all around Google trying to figure out how this thing worked. I have a business, I do real estate, I needed access to liquid funds, and sometimes it was very quick. I needed it quickly accessible. And so what I did is I actually went out there and tried to search around and figure it all out. You know, the DUNS numbers, net 30, and the specific retailers that you got to apply with. It was very confusing to me. So anyways, I got hooked up with this. What they do is they actually go out and get you unsecured credit lines for your business. On 117, I wrote it up back here, but on 117 I actually reached out to the guys and he ran me all through the entire program, how it works, A to Z, very simple to understand. So I went ahead and went forward. On 129, Robert, my specialist assigned to me, sent me an email letting me know here's where we're at. We just started out, but here's the very first, out of the gate. U.S. Bank, we applied with U.S. Bank, $7,000 right out of the gate. Amex gave me $5,000. BOA and Chase were the other two banks we applied with, and they were still in negotiation, so it was nothing. But right there, let me know, legit, right up front. 2.8, they notified me again and let me know it kind of blew me out of the water. But U.S. Bank, we're still at the same. Amex increased me up to 10. BOA went up to 18. And Chase was at 30. Blew me away. So lots of money there available for my business whenever I need it. Unsecured and 0% interest from 12 to 18 months, somewhere in there. It was kind of a blended rate between all four of them. On 2/13 was my final email from Robert letting me know that U.S. Bank bumped me up to $25,000. So the other ones were all the same, but U.S. Bank went ahead and increased it up to $25,000. Altogether, $83,000 in about the span of a month I got access to. So if you want the exact same thing for your business, reach out to the guys. Robert, all those guys over there know exactly what they're doing. They're open communication right there for you. Give them a call. Talk to them. Listen to a webinar. It's very simple, guys. Take it easy.
a real good look at exactly what's possible when you're building business credit and following these steps.
Hey everyone, my name is Clayton Morris. I'm the founder of Morris Invest. We're a turnkey real estate provider. So we have a lot of clients. We have hundreds of clients that are always looking to buy homes with us, and get beyond just one investment or two investments. They want to be able to get 3, 4, and 5 investments. So to me, this was a game changer because we wanted to be able to help people get access to capital, get access to funds. And the traditional way is, hey, I got to go to the bank, I got to borrow some private money. But what if you could use the power of tap into business credit cards and actually get some extra capital? And my wife and I were able to get access to right around $180,000 in credit, setting up multiple business credit cards. So they took care of everything, and I was really impressed with it. I said, I want to go through this first before we start referring clients. We started with the initial phone call with them, then went through the process of filling out the paperwork, very simple. They got it up and running, and we had about 5 or 6 credit cards that arrived with a certain amount of credit on each of them. We were then able to tap into that credit, pull that money out, and it enabled us to grow our own personal portfolio at a level that we wouldn't have been able to do had we not had access to this capital. So I've seen it in action. Like I said, I wanted to go through it first as a husband and wife before we recommended it to anybody. And now we have tons of clients that buy properties through us in order to expand their portfolio. So I can't say enough great things about them. The team there is just lickety split. They are on it. They're great on the phone, getting answers to questions that you have. They teach you all of the creative ways in order to get the money out of those credit cards, enable you to buy, expand your business or buy rental properties, use that cash in order to build real wealth. That's what I talk about all the time. So thanks so much. You guys are great, and I would recommend highly anybody checking them out. Thanks so much.
So I didn't have a bunch of time, and if you want to look through a bunch of the other partner resources, etc., we will. But I promised you I would get to a Q&A. So I want to go ahead and answer any questions that you actually have. And again, if you're interested in getting started, there's the rate. Then you know what you want. And early action takers get rewarded. I think it makes sense. We give you big incentives if you pay one pay. And if you come in and do monthly, we've got really reasonable monthly payments that we're discounting as part of this that we don't ever, very rarely discount. And then we're also going to work with you. So if you want customized payments, you just have to be honest with us. Don't ever not get something like this you want because you don't ask. We are the epitome that if you ask and work with us and tell us what you can do, we will work with you to make it work if we can make it work. We have expenses to cover that make sense, or sometimes it doesn't make sense. But in a lot of cases, we will work with you. And if you're like, yep, no brainer, you're going to save me like a ton more money than this is even going to be. And it makes a lot of sense because I'm going to be able to come in and get vendor credit right away. Everything else, we'll jump and get going to. Okay, I promised you. So let's do it. Let's do a Q&A. Let's go through. I want to make sure any questions you have are answered. Can we get a copy of the webinar? Yes, if you stayed through the webinar, which you have because it would tell me if you left, then you will get it sent to you through email tomorrow. Is having only an 800 number for your business enough, or do you need a local number also? You don't really need a local number. Even though getting a local number with 411 is preferred with 411, our toll-free number is listed with 411, so you don't need a local number if you don't want to. Is this live or recorded? Well, it's obviously live. I guess you know now because I answered the question. Sound goes off and on. I saw this during the webinar, but you were the only one that reported the issue, which is why I didn't address it. My business already has an 80 paydex. An 80 paydex does not mean much. It literally means you pay your bills as agreed. A lot of people think that having a good business credit score is all they need. It's not the case. It comes down to trade lines. In order for you to really progress through the business credit building process, you're going to need about 14 trades at least to get to the end. That's what you want to focus on. But that being said, congratulations on the 80 paydex. That's part of it, is paying your bills agreed. Great job. You just want to continue to build the trades. That's the key to real success. Can I start applying for credit through this program? You can. You can apply for credit. Again, you saw the tiers of credit we walked through. So how many trade lines you have will determine the tiers. And again, We had a couple issues here, but it looks like those did get resolved. I think some of your computer was a little slow, but again, I saw this during the webinar. I just never addressed it because nobody else was having the issue. So that being said, that was why I didn't. Can we build more than one business inside the suite? You kind of can, yes. And by kind of can, I mean you can only enter one company's information in here as you go to build your business credit. But you could follow the steps for multiple businesses, as you sometimes can. And the reason I say that, Mary, is because, yes, you can go through, but you can only enter one company's information in these steps as you go through. You could follow the same steps for multiple businesses. A lot of people come in, and a lot of people will do it different that as well. Hey, Eric, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Owner-operator, cool, man. Located in Wisconsin. My question is, I have net 30 credit terms with companies such as Stephen Land. Yep, you're naming a bunch of companies. Do they report to DMB? My answer is I don't know, but I don't think so. The companies you're referencing, Eric, I love this question because this is what a lot of people run into. A lot of people think they have business credit because they have credit like you do at Stephen Land and Dorfman Pacific and Bailey Hats, but none of these accounts that I know of you've listed report to the reporting agencies. Remember, over 97% of trade accounts don't report, so you'd have to pull your DMB report, which is $159 a month with DMB to do. Of course, it's $24 a month with us to get experience in DMB, but it's worth it to see if they're reporting. More than likely, they're probably not in your credit report because most of those vendors don't report. If not, how do I get them to report? Well, you can use DMB's Credit Builder, which is $1,500 a year to do that. But again, you'll only be able to add those to DMB. The only other way to get them to report is you can have them go directly to the reporting agencies to report or have them contact us. We work very closely with the reporting agencies. Just today, I was conversing back and forth with my rep at Experian to help companies get approved for reporting. So you can have them get in touch with us, and we'll help them report as well. That's probably going to be easier than them trying to do it on their own. I have good personal credit and good business credit. I have 2K Amex, 2K Capital One, 6 Bank of America. Please, I'm interested in getting 50,000 business credit for a business. How can you help? Well, let us know. I mean, the first thing is a lot of people think that they have good business credit like they're describing. The question is are these accounts really reporting on your business credit reports, or are they reporting on consumer? And the real question is how many accounts are really reporting on your business credit reports? I don't know that. So if you have good personal credit, you could definitely qualify for the up to $150,000 in financing without the personal guarantee, or excuse me, with the personal guarantee. That's a great program to get a bunch of access to cash quickly, okay? And that's probably the easiest way. Yeah, if you're looking for 50 grand, we could probably do that in 3 weeks or less. With the good credit, we just put you in the unsecured program. We can also get it for you without the personal guarantee. It's all a matter of how many trade lines you have to know how fast that can happen. We need to see your actual business credit reports for the no PG business credit to answer the question of how long it'll take. But with the guarantee, if you're willing to provide the guarantee in 3 weeks or less with the credit of 680 or higher, we can get it. Do you have any recommendation for asset protection? Not my world. No, I don't. There's a lot of great sources out there for it, but I just don't know enough to be able to speak to it or give you references. 3 questions. Do you have an aged corporation, something that is 2 years older or more? Is that preferable? No, we don't deal with shelf corporations because they serve no real purpose, Thomas. The reality is that the age of your business has nothing to do with your ability to get business credit or loans. In a lot of cases, what it really comes down to is the established how many trade lines you have on the business credit report, for one. For two, if DMB finds out that you bought an aged corporation, they will just red flag the corporation and shut it down, so you can't use that credit profile. We see that happen quite a bit. We do not sell trade lines. We do not deal with age corporations. You're basically trying to fool a reporting agency. Oftentimes they know about it and they red flag your business, and you're never able to build credit for that business again. Just so you know, that is a possibility, and that's why we don't work with it. Second question, will creditors increase your limits over time on your vendor cash and store credit? Yes, they will. And we also teach you how to get those limits raised ongoing as you continue to have the credit. But they will do it. Sometimes they won't do it naturally. Sometimes there's some steps you have to take, and we help you with that process as well. Can you obtain unsecured lines of credit based solely on business credit with no Social Security PG, no bank accounts, ETV eventually? You can build business credit and get it without the social and without the PG. You typically should have a bank account, though. In a lot of cases, when you start to get to that point, they're going to want to see that you do have a bank account. Also looks like you have a very good product coming from a credit consultant myself, Thomas. I really appreciate that. That means if I go through the process simultaneously with 2 LLCs, would I be accessible for funding? Yeah, business credit, well, yeah, you can. You'll definitely get double the amount of credit on the business credit side. Loans and credit lines, you have to build out both companies. But yeah, absolutely. The more entities you have, the more business credit you can build. If you haven't opened a business yet, our finance suite still works. As you've seen, we help you through the process even from step one. So we help you do it right from the beginning. We help you come in and set up the business entity. We help you set up your EIN. We help you get your name. You can see the finance suite, you'll fly through step one pretty quick if your business is already established. But if you're not established and you're brand new, well, congratulations. We're helping you do this right here from the beginning the right way. I've got friends that sell just step one for $2,000 to $3,000. They own a call center. They just help businesses set up initially, and business setup services are $2,000 to $3,000. That's just what you get in step one. So we'll help you through that process in step one, even as a brand new business. So absolutely, we could definitely help you do that. Based on the 3 ways you outlined to get initial credit, if you have excellent personal credit scores, is that the fastest way to establish the initial 5 trade lines? Yeah, it is. It is. You could do both. If you find vendors in step 3 you want, I recommend you do it. But I really like and I love the unsecured program. We do this too. Matter of fact, several of the credit lines in here we do as well. The one that I said you can get up to $100,000 with no credit check, we have that one. We love that credit line. The unsecured business financing where you can get up to $150,000. We go through these programs because we vet stuff before we put it into our clients. The new credit line we just got access to yesterday, we applied for that today to get approved. We don't even really use a lot of our credit lines. We do it just to make sure they work as advertised from the lender. But yeah, this is the fastest way. Get this program, get with our team. We'll help you get this. This will put 5 trade lines on your credit report pretty quick, within about a month to 2 months, or probably about a month. It's not a ton faster than vendor credit. Vendor credit, if you get vendor credit right now, it'll report next month. With this, it'll report a little faster, but not much. So yeah, it's about as fast as the vendor option. Both are about as quick. The difference with this option is you're usually putting 5 to 15,000 or higher individual limits on the reports. Because the limits are so high from the beginning, then the rest of the credit you get after it, the store credit, etc., has pretty high limits as well. So this is the fastest way to get much higher limit accounts. Vendor credit isn't a lot slower than this. It's about equal when it comes to speed-wise, so you know. Jim, great question. I have P.O. Box and Google Voice. Oh my gosh. John, you have 2 negatives. You got to get rid of both. You cannot use a P.O. Box. You will absolutely fail. And you cannot use Google Voice. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But a lot of credit issuers, for some reason, deny people because of Google Voice we found. Not sure why. Yes, you do need to get both. You need to get a real physical business address, virtual address, or use your home address, one or the other. The other problem with the home address, guys, a lot of people don't know this, is guys and gals, I should say, to be politically correct, is the home address. Dun & Bradstreet will now put a street view of your actual address on your credit report. So we have some clients really freaking out because they have street views of their home on their commercial credit reports, which is what the reporting agencies are starting to do. Another reason to consider using a virtual address. But yeah, you cannot use a P.O. Box. You cannot use Google Voice. Those 2 are big no-nos, just so you know. Is it harder for an online business to get business credit? No, it's not. And nonprofits and profits are the same too. It really does not matter. But just remember, Lorenzo, if you want to be credible and really not even look like a home address, well then get a real physical business address or just use a virtual address. It's a shortcut to make you just look as credible as businesses that have a physical office. Does having 20K in business credit with personal guarantee with Chase, will that be a problem going forward? No, it's not. You're going to want to build your credit to get it without the personal guarantee, unless you want to continue to be liable for your business. It's still, I have a Capital One Spark card. It reports on my consumer credit reports too. I don't use it because it reports on my consumer credit reports. It's my card of last resort, and we never need a last resort card, so we don't use it. So make sure it reports on your business credit reports, not your consumer, and keep it open. That's a great account to have, even with the PG, while you continue to build business credit without the personal guarantee. Is using a mail forwarding service helpful? Sure. You just never want to use a P.O. box or UPS address. You use a physical business address or an actual virtual address, and virtual address does mail forwarding. It's the same thing. Don't use, like, iPostal is a service that makes it look like it's a virtual address, but it's really a P.O. box. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. So just make sure it's a real physical business address that you're using as the add back. Is having only an 800 number enough, or do you need a local number? I answer that question. You don't need the local number. Does this work for nonprofit? Absolutely. All nonprofits can build business credit. We even have financing that can work for you. I have an auto business and do auto sales. That's awesome, Sean. Congratulations. I love your industry. Details on auto repair. Would it be a good idea to make a different website for each service since auto sales is considered high risk? Well, that's actually a pretty good question. Auto repair and sales, these aren't really considered to be high risk in the lending world in a lot of cases. So I don't separate them. I keep them all together. If you start to run into denial issues, I'd consider it, but I don't think you will get denied based on it. I think you're okay. What were the rest of the starter vendors that will give initial credit to begin with? I heard Uline and Quill. I went over Uline, Quill, and I went over Wells Fargo as well. They have a secured credit card. Another one is Strategic Network Solutions. And then you saw a bunch more in our finance suite, but the reason for that is because we have a bunch of exclusive ones, but you wouldn't be able to access those anyways because, again, they offer business credit because we help them offer business credit so they can help our customers. I haven't done a Bradstreet number company with an EIN. That's the starter phase, but of course, as you saw in this webinar, there's a lot more that will still need to be done. Does a low bank balance affect business credit? No, it doesn't, Patrick, but as you build business credit, and in the Business Credit Builder Step 1, we go over some things about your bank account you should know about. The financing credit allow you to go to foreclosure auctions with 2 to 3 days to pay for property. You're not going to, I'm not exactly sure what the question is. Can you go to pay for property? Yes. We have a lot of funding programs, credit lines and loans that will help you buy property. Yes. If you're asking to do it in 2 to 3 days, we have some credit lines that can be delivered to you in 2 to 3 days. Others might take a few weeks or more. So hopefully that answers that question. We're the only ones that offer anything close to what we have. It's the only system where you could build business credit and get loans. It's the only system where you build business credit with the help of a full advising team. It's the only place where you access all financing products in one place, work with finance officers. So we don't usually discount. But as part of this webinar, I'm going to do something we usually only do a couple times a year, and I'm going to come in and we're actually going to give you a discount if it's something that makes sense for you, if you're interested in getting going. So our top plan with payments retails for about $7,000 if you go to our website. You can get started if you're looking to get started today. Still got a few other bonuses I wanted to throw in as part of this as well. The first is a 30-minute initial consultation call with the advising team. They're going to call you, and you can ask them any questions you have, spend time with them, have them help you with any process that you want help with initially. We're getting you access to that D&B. NAV is not available. That credit monitoring integration is powered by NAV. It is not available to all of our clients. We're getting you access to that so you actually save the $2,500 a year that you're going to spend and only get it for $27 a month. We're going to give you a free business valuation. Do you know how much your business is worth? Do you know the things you need to do now to make your business worth more money? We've got a 29-page report from BizEquity that you'll actually get access to that will tell you how much your business is worth and that will actually walk through what you need to do to make sure that it's worth the most amount of money. It's worth about $600. Applying for Amazon, it's not a matter of your score. It's a matter of how many trade lines you have. So you need to have at least 5 to even start thinking about getting approved for store credit. If I got the 150 funding option using my PG, can I eventually get more funding? Yeah, that's the whole purpose of what we do. Remember, when we build business credit, guys, the first step is to get 5 trade lines reporting. Then you can start to get no PG credit. The 150 and unsecured just helps you get those 5 trade lines reporting faster So then that way it makes it faster for you to get the no PG. It just expedites the process. Marketing supplies for the company, sure. That's a Visa card to MasterCard and Amazon. You're buying that stuff. I can't sign up with Equifax. You can't. We only deal with our nav integration deals with Experian and D&B, not Equifax. There's a reason for that. Not a lot of people report to Equifax. That's why. Of every 10 sources you apply for with business credit, maybe one even reports to Equifax. So we don't advise our clients to even pay for Equifax because so few report there that we want to save money. That's why. Thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate you coming in. If I use the cosigner option, would their credit be affected? I already answered that for somebody else. And how can we move the money into a self-directed Roth IRA? Our finance team can help you do that with IRS-proven strategies where there's no penalties, but that's a little bit too complicated of a question to ask here. So that being said, I am right, perfect on time, 2:58. Awesome presentation. I'll be purchasing soon. Great, Ruben. I look forward to work with you. Guys, look, you know me. I will give you tons of free information that will help you along the way, but it's just like anything else. You know, if you don't know everything that we know collectively, then it's just going to take you a lot longer time to get the results we can help you get. And that's what you have to ask is, it's time or money. With us, we can work with you on initial investment and monthly payments to make it affordable to work with us. We save you the 411 and the D&B and all these extra costs you're going to get nickel and dime for. It's all part of our system. So when you look at it, we save you more money than you would spend on your own, and you work with our team and go through the fastest way to get money. So if you want to get the fastest access to money to get the business off the ground, whether you can get a loan or you can't, we have all those solutions for you. But it's not just fast and then you're done. We work with you indefinitely. Our finance team will continue to work with you to help you with all aspects of getting business loans and credit lines. Whenever you need us, we're here. So our job is to help you, even in the beginning stages, get access to capital when no one else will help you. We do it through a lot of loans and credit lines people don't know about, and we also help you do it through commercial credit. Once we've done that, then we help you get even more money without the personal guarantee using commercial credit. So right now, the first thing we're going to do is get you access to all the loans and credit lines you can qualify for right now. Then we're going to help you build commercial credit to help you get even more money without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. But if you do like it because you start to get results, which you will, then now we've just given you a V-line to get the money you need to actually grow the business, which is your ultimate goal. We're going to help you. If you can't get financing now, we help develop a finance blueprint to help you get money in the near future. So we help you with all aspects of getting business credit financing. We just expedite the process. We just make it easy and fast to get the results, because if you go to our YouTube channel, if you go to our Facebook, you'll see so many people have thousands of questions because they get stuck and they don't have anybody to turn to. Our customers don't have that problem. They get stuck, they immediately turn to us, they immediately get an answer and immediately get results. That helps take a process that could take you years on your own just to months. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I mean, we've been doing this. We've helped over 10,000 people build business credit. Over 10,000 people build business credit. And of the 10,000 people we've helped business credit, we have no client that's ever complained about us ever. It's never. Literally, we have an A+ BBB rating. We didn't pay them. We're not whatever they call with where you have to pay them money to get it. We earned it because we've never had a complaint in the lifetime of our company. We've got tons of video testimonials here. You can actually see real Vista video testimonials. You can see actual business credit results here, funding case studies. We're 5-star rated with Trustpilot as well, and you can see all the comments from real clients here and the real experience. You see we keep our 4s and our 3s and anything else. We keep them all, so you can see it's real. So at some point, you have to say, look, I'm dealing with a company here that's got all these people that have had real success, an A+ BBB rating with no complaints, a 5-star Trustpilot rating, tons of proof they can do what they say they're going to do, and there's nothing really negative. So I'd love to work with you guys. I have to go. I'm already late for my 3 o'clock partner war. The offer expires Friday at midnight, where you get those bonuses and save the 20%. So make sure you check it. Special. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you all coming in and attending today, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.